Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I am here with the man himself, the old man, Adam Winters. I'm Joe Gould. Today, we're doing something a little different. We're getting to the St. Patrick's Day spirit
Yeah.
and horror movies.
Yeah. I think St. Patrick's Day is sort of a horror movie, just waiting to happen. I just don't know that you can ever trust a leprechaun, even when they're nice looking.
I mean, I think I agree with that. Leprechauns are kind of creepy by default.
Even Lucky from Lucky Charms, he's always trying to steal your cereal.
Yeah.
What a weirdo.
So today we're starting a new series on Leprechaun, the movies, the film series. We're going to start with the first one from 1993. Starring Warwick Davis, our favorite little person.
Gosh, we're not going to do all of them, are we?
I don't know. We'll do as many as we can stand. They hold up pretty well. But if you haven't watched Leprechaun before, think of Gremlins meets Child's Play. I think.
Maybe.
With an Irish accent.
Huh.
I think Leprechaun either is probably your horror movie spirit animal.
Huh. Why is that?
Because I feel like if you were a wisecracking, murderous little monster, that you would speak in limericks like the leprechaun.
I would do that. Yes. Chucky got a dirty mouse for the most part. He's a former serial killer. But the leprechaun, he's got history. He's got something going on for him. It's definitely style and substance. So, I once walked into a Verizon store and I had a little lyrical rhyme for him. And I don't know how everybody takes my little lyrical quips. I find it a really clever way to go about your day, trying to think about the cleverest way to say something. But I don't know. Maybe it's not for everybody.
Yeah, well, it's not for everybody because not everybody is quick enough to come up with the quip.
Or else they're jealous. And you do it and they don't.
I think it's a jealousy factor. I think people are very jealous of our sarcasm and our ability to come up with it off the top of our head.
There's a lot to be said for doing it in the moment. Because everybody always says, well, I thought of it later what I really would have wanted to say. But if you can do it in the moment, like our leprechaun buddy, something to that.
If you have to think about it, that's kind of like when you don't get the joke.
Yeah.
And it's not always the joke's fault. Let's just say that. So, Leprechaun, directed and written by Mark Jones. Its budget was only $900,000. Box office, $8.5 million.
Surprised it went to the box office, this kind of movie.
Yeah.
Did any of the others?
Hour and a half. Part 2 did, but it did not do as well. I would say it probably made a profit, but it did not make 10 times what the budget was.
I'm so glad we got to grow up in a time when you could just cast little people in a role like this instead of CGI and everything. I don't know what to expect when they inevitably continue to remake this franchise. This movie, he's a very simple little man. He wants his gold. And he wants to kill anybody who takes his gold.
I've seen this movie probably... This is almost an annual event that I bust out Leprechaun. Maybe not the first one, but I watch at least one Leprechaun movie a year. It's a healthy diet. What can I say?
Okay. You make it a family event or just you?
I watched a couple of them with the kids. They didn't watch all of them, but they watched like 3 of them. I just told them which one to avoid.
Yeah.
But no, this is a great movie. They say that up front. Try as they will, try as they might. He who steals me gold won't live through the night.
That's not one of his best ones either, but it's good.
Everything he says just has a great delivery. I'm assuming that he acted like the leprechaun on set. I just can't imagine being dressed up like that and not doing it. So the movie starts with this guy named O'Grady. I think that's his name.
Yeah. Don't know his first name. I think he's just Mr. O'Grady, and his wife is Mrs. O'Grady.
Yeah, I think his name was written down at the hospital at the end.
Okay.
But you have the O'Gradys, and he comes home, and he has unwittingly stolen a leprechaun. He knew he stole his gold. He didn't know he stole the leprechaun.
Yeah.
But he comes home and meets his wife, and his wife's like, "Why are you dressed up like this?" He says, "We're rich." And she's like, "You're drunk. I don't know about the rich part." And ultimately, we have a little scene, and then we don't see him again till the end. But the leprechaun wants his gold back. the leprechaun knocks the wife down the stairs to the basement, and ultimately the little leprechaun is shot, put inside a crate, and it's hammered shut. But as he's hammering it shut, he has a heart attack.
Well, hold on now. Hold on now.
Go ahead.
It's a stroke, not a heart attack, right?
I think it was a stroke. As a kid, I thought it was a heart attack.
But I don't think he has it till he goes up the stairs. Am I right about that? He tries to set the basement on fire after he covers everything with gasoline.
Yeah. All right. So he pulls a gun and a 4-leaf clover out on the little wee lad, and he shoots him. And they're down the basement. He puts it in the crate while it's wounded. He nails it shut. The 4-leaf clover's on top of the crate, and he
Just
tries
sort
to
of
burn it with
balancing there.
gasoline. Yeah, and he intends to burn it with gasoline, but then he goes up the stairs and dies before he gets a chance to.
Because he wanted to get his wife's body to safety. Whether I assume she's already dead, but he was pulling her up the steps, which tired him out even more. And then he wanted to throw the lighted match into the basement, presumably to get out before everything caught on fire. Is that how you took it?
Yeah, though I don't know if he was going to make it.
No, he wasn't. But he's not thinking super rationally either. That's the other thing. And I thought it was implied that the leprechaun was somehow responsible for his heart problems.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of calling it before it happens, even though he can't see it.
Yeah, he's mocking him. Frequently, the spirit of the leprechaun is narrating to the movie. It's not quite clear if everyone can hear him. But yeah, he's talking about how if he keeps pushing himself, he's going to have a stroke.
Yeah.
Which looks more like a heart attack, but
sure.
It is kind of confirmed later on that it was a stroke.
Sure.
And so did he cause it, or did he just see it coming? I don't know.
No.
But, and I'm going to have to edit some of these quotes later on, but I'll let this one go. As he's about to light the match and throw it down the stairs, he says, "Burn in hell, you little green bastard." And then the match goes out.
Well, why does the match go out? Is it just like a gust of wind when he falls over, or what?
I think they're almost implying similar to, because Leprechaun's magic is pretty up in the air. It seems fluid.
Yeah.
And it's implied, I think, that the Leprechaun uses his magic to blow the match out. But I don't know how the Leprechaun would see it. So it's a little unclear. Leprechauns are special little creatures. What can you say?
So in this movie, a 4-leaf clover is akin to what kryptonite is to Superman. It makes him vulnerable to other things.
Or sunlight to a gremlin.
Well, it doesn't outright kill him. Well, maybe it does. So if the closer...
It at least holds him in place.
Yeah.
It's as he gets close to it, he can't touch it.
Presumably bodily contact will start a fatal chain reaction for him. Or something close to it.
I don't know if we saw enough at the end to really say that that's completely accurate.
That's
based
right.
on how he consumed
it doesn't seem like he did. No, that's right.
I feel like he could have maybe burned his hand real bad and swatted it off the top of the crate. But it seems to weaken him too, where he's not really able to move.
Yeah.
So it has a kryptonite effect, but also you don't want to eat it.
No. Maybe it's like Godzilla and the depressurizing effect. It's just, we don't know what it does specifically, but it gives him a bad time. He can't quite handle it easily.
Maybe.
-1 Godzilla.
So we have 4 other main characters and 1 more side character, and they're introduced at this point.
There's slightly too many characters in this movie, I'm going to say. I'm just going to get that out of the way.
Slightly, yeah. So Jennifer Aniston, in her first film role, plays Tori Redding. I'm probably just going to call her Aniston the rest of the time of this show.
Was the Friends TV show a thing yet? I never cared for that. It was for white women, not me.
I don't think she was known at all when this movie came out. I don't think she would have done this movie if she had friends.
Oh. You're saying she got standards once she got famous.
I'm saying she says this was embarrassing to be part of, and she must not be a horror movie buff.
She needs to get over herself. White women, man, I tell you what.
Well, I would argue that while I agree, she seems to have done pretty well for herself, so it's hard to really push back too much.
But if she embraced the Leprechaun lore, she could continuously get work today, I'm pretty sure. She were to lean back into the genre. Lean into it.
Probably.
Jennifer, lean into it. It'll always be... It'd be like Bruce Willis used to say, you always need that cash cow character in your career that you can always go back to. But for him, it was the Die Hard movies and John McClane. So Jennifer Aniston, this could have been it for her. What's the character's name, by the way?
Tori Redding.
Okay, kind of a lame
Which,
name.
yes. And
there's a father who's
yes, well, really, her father has brought her to this little cottage-looking thing for a summer. I forget what state. Apparently, they did film Little House on the Prairie at that place.
It's California, isn't it?
I don't remember. It doesn't really matter. They don't really reference it, but
boy, I thought they did.
It's a small town. It's like a farm with a barn, and you can drive down the road about 20 minutes. And there's a place that will buy your coins. There's a hospital, and there's a little restaurant you can eat and drink bourbon at.
Huh. Well, ain't that convenient?
Yeah. So she's there with her father. He's wanting to spend the summer there with her. They're going to fix up this house, which I don't think they actually own. I don't really understand this. And we're also introduced to the three guys who paint the house.
The Stooges. They even do a Stooge reference at some point, don't they?
I think they do. And you have a hunk named Nathan Murphy. You have a little kid.
He reminds me of the kid on Pete and Pete. The younger Pete on Pete and Pete.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
I forget his name.
He can be plucked out of any Disney movie. And
well,
just
Nickelodeon more so, I think. He's a bit more of a Nickelodeon kid vibe who cusses a little bit.
Yeah. And his name's Alex. And he is actually the brother of the hunk. And then you have Ozzie Jones, the dim-witted sidekick of Alex. And apparently he came back and reprised this role in that reboot I was talking about.
It wasn't worth it, though. I don't even think it made perfect continuity sense. But he was wasted in that. It's too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty forgettable because I didn't remember it. Yeah. And I have seen it. So
there are references made that he is some scene, but I just find him to be not all that smart, but not like anything beyond that.
Yeah, I think, and everyone has to remember, in 1993, we had a whole different perspective as to what was appropriate for characters and the names you would call them. And so, I mean, for instance, this would have been around the time that you had Pinky and the Brain, right?
Yeah.
And I think their first full episode involved the Brain getting a job at an insurance company, and it was called Reinsurance. And reinsurance is a real thing, but they went over the top with the double entendre and it got past the censors and didn't care. And that's kind of like you have to view a character like this. People make fun of him the whole movie about how he's stupid. And he kind of is stupid, but he's not as stupid as people think he is.
Yeah, he's right every time he says something.
Well, apparently he thinks there's aliens and things that have come down to visit in the past.
And
he's told stories which, well, maybe.
Just can't prove it, though.
You're right. And there's a character real similar to this in Critters. I forget the guy's name. I think it's Charlie.
Okay.
And this movie was somewhat inspired by Critters in a roundabout.
Did not know that.
Way. Yeah. All my favorite movies inspired this movie. And I didn't know it at the time, which is probably why I love it. It's a great movie.
Huh. All right.
So we're introduced to these guys, and they're painting this house the ugliest, brightest red and blue.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It's going to be a Superman house. Is that what they're... What was it supposed to look like? They should have shown us a concept picture.
I don't know, but even for 1993, it would not work.
No.
Even taking that into account.
Bad.
The dad offers to help paint the house, and the kid tells him that he can't help due to the liability insurance not covering him if you're not an employee.
Yeah, the kid is surprisingly the business manager of the group.
Yeah, so you have the kid, you have the dude on the spectrum. They're covered by the liability insurance, but the dad renting the property, not so much.
I'll bet they don't even have insurance. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. And Aniston doesn't want to stay there, but then she meets the hunk, and she says, "Dad, we're staying. I'm not afraid of the spiders in the basement."
So now that we've talked about the characters, which one of these do you think are dispensable for the movie?
Well, the key cast is the Leprechaun, Aniston, the hunk, Ozzie, and the kid, Alex. Everyone else in the movie is expendable.
How relevant is the hunk even? How essential is he?
He shoots all the guns.
Okay, we do need somebody competent with guns, and the way we're introduced, none of the other characters you have to believe are good with firearms.
Well, I don't think they would want little Alex running around the screen shooting people. I don't think you want Ozzie, the dim-witted sidekick, running around with a gun. Aniston admits up front that she doesn't know how to shoot a gun, and they don't tell her how to shoot a shotgun, so she's gonna
Yeah.
get knocked on her ass the first time she fires one.
She's the fish out of water. She doesn't need to be super competent. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Leprechaun really doesn't use human weapons.
Well, he loves human vehicles, though.
He does love the little vehicles, but he rejects the gun. He rejects the knife. He does
Yeah.
try to use the axe, but I think it was more in the moment. It's what he had.
Yeah. It's not his style to be your traditional serial killer.
No, and I think that one of the reasons. So the critics hated this movie. It's like a
Yeah.
15% positive rating with the critics,
Meh.
and they just completely missed the point, I think. But I will say, at no point do you really believe that the Leprechaun's going to overpower all four of these guys. He's like a nuisance, like death by a thousand cuts, kind of.
He's sort of like the ghost that haunts the town, or at least the house, even though other people are victims in the movie.
Yeah. What's like, in Child's Play, Chucky, he'll use the knife. He wants a real big, sharp knife. So you have to decide how strong the little doll is, but he's got a real weapon.
Yeah.
The Leprechaun is slashing Ozzy across the face with his boot buckle.
Yeah.
Now he does get the hunk Nathan in a bear trap, but then his
Yeah.
follow up is he just tries to bite the leg. Even though they're all whacking him with sticks and things, he's just biting that leg, going at it. It's like, and at any point, it's like, why don't they all just jump on the Leprechaun and pin him down?
Yeah, yeah. Part of it at the beginning is nobody really believes he exists. That's the initial thing.
They don't believe he exists at the end of the movie. That little
Yeah.
guy, he self-identifies as a leprechaun the whole movie, and Aniston is just determined that it's not a
Yeah.
leprechaun. Even after she gets the gold, she doesn't want to believe it.
It's a weird subplot because it feels like at some portion of the movie, she's more concerned about being right than she is about the obvious threat to herself, her father, and everybody else in the house.
Yeah, I agree. Moving the plot along, the leprechaun gets out of the crate when Ozzy hears a little child singing "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" as he's cleaning up, and he goes down to the basement, and the child acts like he's trapped in the crate, and he's like, "How'd you get in there?" And then he goes to take a closer look. He wipes off the clover, so the clover is no longer on the crate.
First mistake.
Yeah. So Warwick busts loose, wipes off his hat, eats a bug, asks for a light, announces his leprechaunness, and asks where the gold is. And then he's about to bite the guy's ear off, but he gets away. Ozzy gets away. And that's where we find out that the leprechaun not only wants his gold, but he's actually powered by it. So his magic is weak, and he can't do all the things he would normally do without his gold. And he's hungry.
They have not found the gold yet at this point. I've forgotten when the gold was found.
Pretty soon here. Ozzy runs outside and tells everybody about the leprechaun that tried to eat his ear. And they're like, sure.
Yeah.
But, the hunk is a nice guy. And he wants to go, prove to Ozzy that it's safe. So he grabs a small stick and says, let's go. And they all travel down to the basement and they find a rat. And Ozzy says, it was bigger than that. So this is why you don't tell stories about aliens. When you meet the leprechaun, no one's going to believe you.
Boy who cried wolf, right?
Yep. So then they go outside, and Ozzy sees a magic rainbow. The plot moves quickly here. When they need something to happen, it happens. And he says, leprechauns and rainbows, it's a sign. Let's go to the end of the rainbow. And he drags the kid along.
I forget why the kid goes. He says he's going to keep an eye on him.
Well, he says he's got to get Ozzy back focused and come back to paint. But he
and that leaves
has no intention of coming back.
The two attractive people alone together. And I forget where the dad is at this point.
Yeah, I don't know where the dad is at this point. But Aniston says, let's go paint. And he's excited about that. And then the kid says, you can't find the end of a rainbow. And then Ozzy immediately finds it at an old truck. And we get a PSA on lockjaw and rust. This is the kind of thing that leads to everyone believing that if you touch rust at all, you're going to get lockjaw.
Yeah.
That's really not how it works. Everybody should go Wikipedia that. But anyways, they find a piece of gold. They fight over it. Eventually, they find the bag of gold. So the kid says, you can keep your piece. Ozzy decides he needs to know if it's real. So he tries to take a bite. And he swallows the gold.
So on that point, if I remember, the way you're supposed to test a gold coin is if it bends, it's most likely gold because gold is a soft metal. But if it doesn't bend when you bite it, It could be some other metal that's not as precious, but not as pliable either.
Yeah, or at least not pure gold.
So
That's right.
somehow he swallows the whole thing, which it's a big coin, right? It's like a silver dollar size, isn't it?
Yeah, no special effects, not on camera, and
I imagine he'd be having other problems if he swallowed a coin that big. Like, has it make it all
he's
the
a
way
big
down?
guy.
Yeah,
He's a
he
big boy.
is. That's fair.
So, and I should say, again, they didn't actually show him swallowing it. It was kind of implied. They look at it and he's got something in his mouth and pretends to swallow. But one thing this movie does great at is maximizing its budget. There's like two special effects in this whole movie that look like they cost money, other than the Leprechaun's costume, of course. You got like
Yeah.
a crawling hand. You got a little baby hand come out of a phone, a la Nightmare on Elm Street, and you have the exploding well at the end. And that's pretty much it. The rest of it is basic kids' toys modified with pitchforks. I thought they were going to take themselves out with that bear trap a few times. At 1993,
Boy,
I do wonder if it's a real one.
I would hate messing with that. Like the hunk guy, is it Nason? He has his leg in the trap, and Jennifer Aniston has to pull it apart just long enough for him to move his leg, and then it almost immediately snaps back. So I'm thinking, oh man, that's not smoke I want a part of right there.
No, and you wonder, it's like, is that real metal or is that
Oh,
plastic? Like this is 1993. You really don't know.
Yeah. Did they have money to build a fake bear trap prop? Or did they just get an old bear trap somebody had?
They just went to the house on the prairie farm, went to the
man.
barn, found the rusty bear trap.
Goodness. Tetanus City right there. That
Yeah, I mean,
talk about
the
that.
Leprechaun did. I mean, Warwick Davis did all his own stunts, which mostly involved running around in a wheelchair. But no stunt double for Warwick. So they may have had a real bear trap. So at this point, we get another scene which would never be allowed to be filmed again. But the kid, as they get the gold, he's telling Ozzy that now he can get that big operation to get his brain fixed, a la lobotomy. And
yeah, it's a bad idea, I think. You don't want that kind of operation. He's perfectly functional without it.
Yeah. Well, and by 1993, everyone understands that lobotomies don't work. However, this is a pre-internet era, so if you're in some small little country town, you might not know that.
Okay. Now the kid also says he only tells Ozzy that to give him optimism, but at some point it feels like he really means it if they really did have the money.
I think he really wanted to be able to do it. I don't know. Ozzy doesn't seem real excited about the operation.
Nor should he.
Right. Well, exactly. So if you're saying it to keep his hopes up, I don't think he wants to keep his hopes up. But
fair enough.
So we get a little action at this point. The Leprechaun decides to get naughty, and the hunk goes to get, I think, some more paint or something. And she's going to get more paint at the truck while he takes care of something else. And the Leprechaun's underneath the truck, and he starts caressing her leg, and she likes it. And apparently, she thinks that Nathan has crawled under the truck to touch her leg.
They've only had like 2 conversations at this point, too. It's
Yes. And then something distracts her. I think Nathan comes back up, and she pulls her leg real fast. And I don't think the Leprechaun meant to scratch her leg, but she gets scratched by his long nails.
Yeah. Blood is drawn.
Yeah. And then the father shows up, and I think they said it was a possum, probably. And she's like, I know what a man caressing my leg feels like. And they look at each other.
Woo! That's how they do it out there in the West Coast, I guess, 1993.
Yeah, Nathan's like, so you'd let me? And she's like, that's not the point.
Yeah. She totally would. You think that's obviously why Jennifer Aniston's ashamed of this movie, for her loose morals. Yeah, trail.
Well, the awkwardness gets broken by a meowing cat that they hear, and they decide it's not a possum, must be a cat. And then they find a tree trunk.
This is a good scene.
The meowing is coming from inside.
Yeah.
Good. And horror movies, people are stupid.
Yeah.
What do you do if a cat's
Stick
meowing
your
in a tree
hand.
trunk?
Stick your hand in there. Yeah.
And the Leprechaun had some lunch, took a big bite out of his hand.
Did he lose any digits?
I don't think so. I think he bit the center of his hand.
Okay.
Probably cheaper to do that effect. If you lose a finger, that's going to be more of a special effect, I think.
So do both of them take him to the hospital? Do they drive him in one of the vehicles?
Well, they all go. The kids come back home.
Oh, what? So they don't get a chance to tell him about swallowing the gold and finding the gold. Where does he hide the gold, the little kid? Because he wants to hide it.
Oh yeah. So the gold, they're hiding it in a well, and their intention is to take one piece of it to the city, cities in air quotes, and
Yes, that's
figure
right.
out if it's real gold.
It's convenient that the old man got his hand bit because
I'm I'm telling you, the plot moves along the way it needs to. And they get back and they hide the coins in the well, or the bag of coins in the well, and they keep one. And then they see that everyone's injured and they got to take the dad to the hospital. So they all jump in the truck. And this is where they introduce the idea that the truck doesn't like to start and the distributor cap frequently has to get fixed. So the kid fixes that and they're off. And the adults are dropping off the dad at the emergency room. They tell the kids to go ahead up to the restaurant. They'll be there shortly. The kids take the opportunity to go to the coin shop to see if the coin's gold. The guy says, "Can I look at it overnight? This could be difference between $500 and priceless." They're like, "Sure." And they get a receipt and they leave. And it takes them a very long time to get to the restaurant,
so the
even though they weren't
question
at
is
the shop very long.
the coin specialist, for my lack of knowledge of the right term, pneumatologist, I think he does confirm it's gold. He's just trying to confirm its historic value, right?
Yeah, he says it looks like it's pure gold. But he
Yeah.
said if it's a historical coin, like a leprechaun coin, as Ozzy points out, it could be priceless. So he's going to want to study it. And then he studies it for about 10 seconds looking at this book. And then
Yeah.
the leprechaun makes some noise and distracts him. And after he checks that out, he doesn't go back to check the coin again. He just goes to put it back in the safe and go home for the night. So he didn't really do a lot of research.
Yeah, you would have thought he'd been more excited, but maybe he had dinner to get home to or something. Feed the dog.
Yeah, so ultimately the leprechaun takes him out and he takes him out with a pogo stick. This old lep, he played one, he played pogo on his lung. And we have our first
It's
murder from the leprechaun.
I like the idea of deaths by pogo stick, but it's just filmed a little oddly. I don't know how you film it better. I don't know. It
Yeah,
just something about it is loses some punch.
no, it was close to great, not quite. So, um, leprechaun playing with a pogo stick.
It's something you'd see like the Joker and Harley Quinn do, like a killer pogo stick in some of the animated cartoons.
So he gets his coin. I don't think he really believes that the coin man has his bag of gold, but he gets a little zealous, and once he's dead, can't really ask him anymore. So he goes. I believe he goes back. Yeah, he goes back to the farmhouse at that point.
Does he take the car or is it the tricycle? What does
He
he have
takes
at
the
this?
car. He takes the kid's car with the stuffed animals in the back because he gets pulled over by the cop for speeding.
He does get pulled over by the cop. The cop does not make it out. It's interesting how many police officers are involved in this movie, and yet they only show up after the leprechaun is mostly dead. The full force, because nobody just buys into the whole leprechaun problem.
No, and we'll get to it at the end. But my assumption is that everyone gets arrested for killing the cops at the end because the leprechaun's not there.
Huh. It's a good
I mean, I
question.
don't know how
How
they're
many dead
don't know how
cops
they're going to
are there at the
explain
end
all
of the
this.
movie? Yeah.
At least two, plus the
Okay.
coin man, which I
Yeah.
assume they found at some point. And
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of dead
they
bodies in the
bit the
small town.
they must have bit the dad's hand, sent him to the ER. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of dead bodies.
Yeah.
There's no leprechaun. There's just a big story. So I don't see how they make it out of this.
Fair question.
But yeah, he snags a motorized kid's car and drives it back. Gets pulled over. The cop's pretty rude. He kicks the car, makes fun of him. Old Warwick says it's not nice to make fun of a leprechaun, and he gives him an old wrestling move, the Iron Claw. Squeezes his head, doesn't kill him, just mangles his face. Throws his gun away. Doesn't want the gun. Then he chases the cop through the woods. They kind of play hide and seek with the trees.
It's a good little horror bit. I like it.
Yeah, the cop finds his hat, picks it up, and then the leprechaun's like, over here. He's like, I'm over here. I'm over here. Then the leprechaun runs away. The cop runs the other way. Eventually, he leans against a tree and starts to get relieved, like he's free. I don't think he has any good reason to be optimistic, though. And then the leprechaun drops out of the tree onto his head, sitting on his shoulders, breaks his neck. Now that was fun.
It was a good kill scene. It's a little bit different than most horror movies because initially the police officer is trying to chase him through the woods. He gives up on it, but you feel like as far as these type of things go, he's the kind of guy who made his own bed before he got offed. He brings it on
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, he kicked the car. Made fun of the little man. Like, what are you doing? The four others eventually all meet up at the restaurant.
I'd like to add, the father is never seen nor referenced again throughout this movie.
Correct.
I feel like you might as well have killed him off, but you didn't for some reason.
Yeah, it would make sense if you thought you were going to bring anyone back for a sequel, which they didn't. But while they're there wasting time, the leprechaun's looking for the gold at the house. He rummages through the whole house. He does find some off-brand Lucky Charms.
There's a story behind that, isn't there? You've heard that
There
for the
is.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. He finds a knife, not interested in that, plays with a mirror for a minute, and then he shines all the dirty shoes in the house and puts them on the kitchen table. So you basically have a destroyed house with 30 pairs of clean shoes on the table. And you know, when they come home and they see it, it is the obvious answer what happened. A bear got in the house. So
It's an interesting second weakness they've given the leprechaun. It's one of those compulsive impulses he can't resist. He has to shine a shoe. Who does he shine the shoe on the coin dealer after he kills him?
yeah, he does. He tries to shine Ozzy's shoe.
He just can't resist it, and it comes into play later in the movie. And I don't know if it's in any of the sequels or not, but it's an interesting weakness. It kind of ties back in with our Rankin Bass Leprechaun Christmas Gold. The shoe they were shoemakers.
They work in a lot of Leprechaun lore.
Does Warwick Davis, does he introduce himself to Ozzy as a shoemaker by trade?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. So you want to get into the Lucky Charms now or cover that at the end?
You do Lucky whenever you want. Since we can hold off for the one memorable line everybody remembers from the movie. It comes at the end.
Yeah, I'll let you quote that one.
Yeah.
So anyways, they come home. They decide it was a bear. Ozzy points out all the clean shoes and his leprechaun story, and they're like, "No, it was a bear."
Yeah.
And then they hear a bell, and then we see that Ozzy has found a bell, as he says, "Look what I found." So
drives evil away, doesn't it? The bell ringing.
I don't know, but it comes back to play.
Yeah.
And then the kids are discussing. When I say kids, I mean Alex and Ozzy, who's not really a kid. But the kids are discussing how would they kill a leprechaun? How would you kill a leprechaun? And the kid says, or Alex says, I could do it with a gun. But then they hear another bell, and they're like, Ozzy, stop ringing your bell. And the bell he has is sitting on the table. And I don't think it's the bell that's ringing, but it is the same noise. And they all look at each other. And even though the bell was inside, the hunk goes outside to check it out. And this is where he trips and falls on the bear trap. And the leprechaun pops out and says, I got you in a bear trap. That'll make you shut your yap. I got you in a bear trap. You look like a stupid sap. And I think he improvised those lines. It's amazing. He's amazing. And then you have a classic battle between the axe that the leprechaun has and the flashlight that the hunk has. And the flashlight, I think, wins. At that point, they've come out to get him or to help him. And the leprechaun starts biting him in the leg while the others are just hitting the leprechaun with various items. Eventually, they tell Alex to go get the shotgun. And he does. Ozzy goes in to call for help. He says, the leprechaun's attacking. Send the Marines. And the police laugh at him. But they say that was a good one.
It was not the best police call that he could have made. Poor Ozzy here.
No.
No. He's just got to mention that he has injuries. We're being attacked. We have injuries. Send help.
Yeah. Help, medicine, and the Marines. We got a leprechaun.
Yeah.
So Alex does get the hunk the shotgun, and he does shoot him, and he plays dead for a while. They free his leg while she almost loses her hands. I wrote that down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then the leprechaun kind of leapt into a big bush, and he fires 5 more shots into the bush using all his ammo, and just assumes that he hits the leprechaun, I guess. But when they go check, the leprechaun's missing. I think they do decide it wasn't a bear at this point. They're not ready to really embrace the idea of a leprechaun, but they agree it's not a bear. Yeah. They go to call for help again, but the phone's dead. They work on his leg so they can take him to the hospital. They flash forward to when they got all that done. They get into the truck. Truck won't start. Kid goes to fix it, and the the leprechaun's chewing on all the wires under the hood.
Didn't know he did like that.
Yeah. So then the kid gets back in the car. The leprechaun breaks the front window and bites Ozzy's ear, and he thinks that it's been eaten, but it's just a mere flesh wound.
They couldn't pay for the ear removal for this budget.
And then you get a special effect that you probably couldn't get today because I don't think they still exist, but they take a cigarette lighter from the car and they burn his nose and he runs off to the barn. This leprechaun does not have a real high pain tolerance. What can I say?
It's a Looney Tunes scene once he gets into the barn.
Yeah, yeah. And he busts out with a pitchforked homemade car of some sort, the size of a children's car.
They have to add the sound effects of him tinkering with the tools in the barn, and I think
Yeah.
they do a little light show like he's doing some welding, and it all happens over the course of 3 to 5 seconds. Then he busts out with his souped up tricycle.
They could have lingered on the noise and the lights a little bit longer because you're trying to figure out what's going on, and then he busts out. It's like, okay. But he busts out with his little pitchfork car. He rams the truck, and the truck barrel rolls. And the leprechaun goes to check on them. They're gone. And he says, I want my gold back. So, I mean, at this point, he does clearly, in front of these people, self identify as a leprechaun. Like, it's
Yep.
not just the costume and the gold. He
Yeah.
actually says, I am a leprechaun. Give me back my gold. And he chases them to the house, and they slam his hand off in the door, literally.
That's a good bit. I was impressed. They were able to work
It was
that
good.
in.
His bone structure is not very dense, though, if that worked like that. I can see a broken hand. I don't feel like it
Yeah.
should have like come off, but the hand then crawls up the door and unlocks it for him.
There's no blood, right? When he
I don't think
loses the
so.
hand.
Well,
No.
you can see green blood in the arm.
Yeah. That's what
You
he
know, where
runs
the
on.
hole
He
is.
runs on green
Yeah.
ooze, probably.
Yeah. So then Aniston remembers that she has a portable phone, not a cell
Man.
phone, not
Wow.
a satellite phone, a portable phone.
That's
And it
high
mostly
tech.
looks like the Zach Morris phone, like a car phone. But she calls for help, gets about 5 seconds into the conversation before the phone battery dies. But the sheriff did say they'd send help. But, like, the plot moves along, the help's not really going to come because when he calls the the officer that's out in the field to go to the house, the leprechaun has already killed him and it's mimicking his voice.
It's a good
A la
bit.
the Terminator.
Yeah, it's a good bit. Not sure how he knew to get out there, but
Hey, why complicate matters with, like, how did this happen? It
that's
did.
fair.
The leprechaun's magic is
He's
vague
got a little
and
bit of
powerful.
Looney Tune to him, a little Bugs Bunny timing.
Yeah. Aniston's working on Ozzy's ear while the kid locks all the doors. She's still not ready to identify it as a leprechaun.
No.
But then Ozzy gives up the fact that they do have the gold. Alex, not real thrilled, but they make him fess up. So she's going to go to the well to get the gold. She's got the shotgun. I noticed that the well had a green glowing light in it. I don't think it was tied to the coins, but it was there. This movie likes its green lingering lights. But I thought to myself, if I was a leprechaun looking for my magic gold and I saw a well and a green light glowing in it, I might check the well. Guess he was too short to reach the handle. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So she gets the gold. Go ahead.
It feels like he's magnetically drawn to his gold, but it's weird he can't do the well with the big bag in it.
Well, it's almost though as if he has no idea where his gold is. He can find everything else on the planet, but his power source he does not sense. Like he has to chase the people for the gold.
Yeah.
Right? Leprechaun shows up after she gets the gold out. Sounds like me gold. Looks like me gold. Smells like me gold. Tastes like me gold. And he gives her a big wet kiss.
She bargains with him before she throws it to him, right?
Something like that. I mean, he kind of said up front, I just want my gold. I just want my gold.
Yeah.
But he gives her a big old Freddy Krueger kiss, and she runs off, wiping it off. And he goes to count his gold, and while she goes to the house, and he's counting one by one.
One by one.
94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. Missing a coin. I've been tricked. No one takes a leprechaun's gold. And I will say, leprechauns must not be great at mental math. If you got 3 coins in your hand and you know you need 4, do you have to count the 3 before you realize you don't have the 4th?
He's just so excited. He wants to revel every moment. He's not thinking with his head. He's thinking with his heart. He's with his gold.
Guess. Well, he immediately teleports back into the house. The kid's going to get something out of the fridge. Can't remember what. And then he pops out of the fridge. Then he runs to the cabinets, and they do a little peekaboo game while the hunk shoots the cabinets.
More Looney Tuneisms, yeah.
Yeah. And then he comes out of the chimney. Ho, 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 I'm right here, and I ain't no Santa Claus. I didn't do that in my leprechaun voice, but low-hanging fruit right there, though. And they shoot him, and he falls down, and they poke him, and he sits up like the Undertaker, runs off giggling. Undertaker never ran off giggling, but he would sit up like that. And they follow him, and then he hears a strange noise. And what could the noise be? A skateboard. He rides back and forth in front of them in the hallway, and they take shots and miss every one of them.
You
More
had to
Looney
do that in
Tunes.
the 90s. Do a
Yeah.
skateboard gag.
Then they decide he's in the basement because they hear him underneath, and they're about to just shoot through the floor. They're idiots. They really are idiots. It works, but they're idiots. Ultimately, he busts through the floor before they do that, and they do shoot recklessly again.
Uh-huh.
And I think they went down to the basement at this point, but maybe not. But he wants the rest of the gold, and that's where they do the little trick where the phone that's not supposed to work is now working again with his voice, and then they toss it down. And Ozzy finally fesses up at this point. The coin is in my belly.
Oh no.
Yep. And Leprechaun's like, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it. And I forget how they got away from the Leprechaun at this point, but they talk about who might know to kill a leprechaun because they're obviously not very good at this. And they decide Old Man Grady probably knows because he told Ozzy stories as a kid. So apparently Grady is the reason that Ozzy believes in all these weird things, whether they're true or not. So because everyone was wounded, Aniston goes to the old folks' home to meet O'Grady and see if she can learn how to kill the leprechaun. And she gets to the Chill View Center, which is where the old guy is. And she sneaks in, gets the room number, walks around for a really long time, and eventually walks into his room, and you can see his back. And he says, there's only one way to kill a leprechaun, but I'll never tell you. And it's the leprechaun. And he chases her, but he doesn't get out of the wheelchair. He's just he's just manually using the wheelchair to chase her through the hospital.
Oh.
And then, in what is only the most logical thing ever, she finally gets into an elevator.
Yeah,
And then
why?
suddenly, the leprechaun's wheelchair hits the front door, and O'Grady's body falls through the ceiling of the elevator. Because that's exactly where a leprechaun would hide the dead body, or a
But he's
dying
not
body.
dead.
No.
He's still slightly alive.
And he tells her how to kill it, because he knew that the leprechaun was going to come back for him. And he says, you got to get a four-leaf clover, freshly plucked from the clover patch, and you got to put it on his body.
Well, he didn't do that. He didn't make bodily contact with him.
It was over the body.
Okay, over the body.
Yeah. I guess if you just put it near it, it weakens it where it can't bust out of a crate.
All right.
But if you touch it, it'll kill it. So she drives off to the clover patch. He chases in the wheelchair. She looks through the clover, which again is oddly lit with green light. He grabs her, says, little girls shouldn't look for four-leaf clovers. I don't...
What does that come from? I
have no idea.
I don't get the reference there.
So he chases her. She finds the dead cop. They get into a little battle in the car. She sticks the cop's nightstick in his eye. He takes the cop's eye out of his face and as a replacement. And he says, eye for an eye, me dear. I feel like he would have had to say that to the cop, not to her, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then, again, moving this plot along, Nathan shows up, shoots the leprechaun, and they all go to look for the four-leaf clover. While they're looking for the clover, the kid's in the barn playing with the bear trap. Where's that kid's parents? So while the kid's playing with the bear trap and getting caught by the leprechaun, Ozzy gives a pep talk to Aniston, who's about to give up, and she mockingly says, I believe, and she grabs a wad of clover, and it's in her hand. And I think it's glowing, for what it's worth.
Yeah, I don't quite get the wishful thinking conclusion, but hey, whatever. Because that's what Ozzy's trying to do.
You just got to believe.
And yeah, okay.
So the boy gets caught, and the leprechaun's about to put his head in the bear trap. Then Ozzy runs in and says, hey, it's me you want. And the leprechaun goes for the belly. The guy with the gun tries to use it, but it doesn't fire. And he tackles Ozzy outside. He tackles Ozzy and starts cutting him in the face with a boot buckle. Then the kid slingshot. This is the line of the movie. And he takes this little slingshot, and he wads up the four-leaf clover. He's riding pretty confident in this shot, by the way.
It's not a close range either for a slingshot. It's like, you probably have to have impressive accuracy to make this kind of shot that he does.
Yeah, and I feel like slingshotting a four-leaf clover,
goodness,
I feel like you're going to get some variation on which direction it goes. It's almost be like throwing a paper airplane. But
does he stick it to a rock? Is it stuck to a rock?
I think he just wads it up.
It's stuck to something. I don't remember. I think he uses gum to stick it to something.
Maybe it's stuck to the gum.
Hope it didn't lose any clovers. I guess that invalidates it if a clover gets ripped off. Huh.
True, he wadded it up. But anyways, he shoots it off and says, F you, Lucky Charms.
Fudge.
And the leprechaun dies literally like a melting gremlin.
Yeah, it's and how does he also fall down the well while he's dying?
Yeah, he's right in front of the well. I'm not really sure why. And then he falls backwards into the well, and a lot of green light shoots out. And Ozzy's like, I did a smart thing. I'm not sure what that smart thing was, but he thinks he did a smart thing, and they're patting him on the back, and they get the kid, and then the leprechaun's crawling to get out, so it's not fully dead.
Oh yeah.
And Alex knocks it back in, and then he takes gasoline and sets the well on fire. Giant explosion. Don't know that there was enough fuel for that
Yeah,
because
well,
there's a gas line down there.
wouldn't take much, but yeah, that would have been funny if it just blew the whole house up somehow.
And I thought to myself, he just burned up the clover.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that with O'Grady too. If you're gonna light everything on fire, does the clover disintegrate before the leprechaun dies?
Yeah. But anyways, um, the next morning the cops arrive, and like I said, I assume that everyone's going to be arrested for all the murders, and you lack of a murderer, but who
No
knows?
body for the leprechaun.
Yeah, and then the spirit, the force ghost of the leprechaun, gives a monologue to the audience. I'll not rest till I have my gold. Curse this well that me soul shall dwell, till I find me magic that breaks me spell.
Now, on that note, who has the gold at the end of the movie? Did I misremember that?
Ozzy should still have a piece. Whether it
Well,
passes
yes,
successfully or not, we don't know. And then
he
the
does.
99 would have been wherever. I would assume that the leprechaun magically carries his gold around, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a Legend of Zelda thing inventory.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the movie.
Yeah.
And I think it's great. Lucky Charms was initially going to have like a sponsorship, so to speak, with the movie, or they at least got permission to use them. Once they saw the movie, they said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I don't know about this." And they said, "No longer shall Lucky Charms be in the movie." They re-filmed the scene where he was rummaging through the cabinets. I forget what's the name of the fake cereal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's an obvious, everything about it is an obvious knockoff, but.
I want to know now. I thought I had it written down. Maybe I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, they redid that scene with a box that wasn't tied to it, but all the dialogue stayed in. There's controversy whether the final line, when he says F you, Lucky Charms, if that was written in as a response to Lucky Charms backing out, or if it was already in the script.
I think it was written specifically. I think that's the official story to get back at the General Mills for pulling the plug.
So I think the Leprechaun movies hold up well. The humor holds up. It's
Well,
not.
this one does. This one does,
Yeah.
sure. Everybody in the movie except Jennifer Aniston looks like they enjoy what they're doing in the film.
Yeah. I just feel like this movie, it hits all the right notes. It drags just a little bit, about 3/4 of the way through.
The fact they have to go to town twice is probably the big thing.
If they could have learned how to kill a leprechaun without actually having to go see O'Grady, then I think it
Yeah.
would have saved a little bit. But at 92 minutes, I can't really say that it's that long of a movie. I mean, so
No.
maybe that was the filler that they needed to get it to the hour and a half.
Yeah.
So, how are we going to rate this?
Well, the obvious things are going to be gold coins or knockoff Lucky Charms, right?
Yeah, we could do four-leaf clovers, pogo sticks,
Miniature vehicles, miniature
bear
motor car.
traps.
Well, how about polished shoes? Let's go with polished
Oh,
shoes.
are we doing sets?
You can if you want to do them. You can do a pair if you want, or you can do the half pair, which would be one shoe.
Okay.
Because he'll clean them all.
I'm going to do pairs. And it ultimately, I don't think it's relevant. I'm giving this 5 out of 5 pairs of shoes, pairs of polished shoes. I
Okay.
love this movie. All the things that are you could make complaints about is actually, I think, gives it charm, some lucky charm, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think I give it bonus points if the set really was where they did Little House on the Prairie, which seems kind of sacrilege, but
It's a shame they didn't have a running down the hill gag like at the very end of the episode where,
yeah,
where all the kids run down the hill. We could have got that with Warwick Davis.
But yeah, I think this is a 5 out of 5. I think Warwick Davis is one of the most talented actors, regardless of height. He's just great, and the kids got chemistry. Ozzy's fun. He's a lot of times when you have characters like Ozzy, you kind of want him to die at some point because you get tired of him. I don't really get tired of Ozzy in this movie.
Again, he's usually right about everything. That he's not a liability at any point other than when they entrust him to make the phone call to the police, which they could have done that for anybody except for the guy with his leg in a bear trap. Anybody could have made that call.
Yep. The worst character by far is Nathan, but he's not really in the way. He's just not as interesting.
Well, the father is less relevant than Nathan because he doesn't do
Well, it's been of the
anything
main
after.
characters.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's
Yeah.
weird though because
Actually,
you feel like the father's going to be a main character and he's not.
yeah. And he's honestly more interesting than Nathan. But I don't know. It's just I think Nathan was a needed character. They could have maybe gotten a better actor. The budget was what the budget is what it is. So yeah, 5 out of 5 polished pairs of shoes.
Yeah, very. It got a lot of polish. So I guess it's my turn. Unlike you, I did not grow up with Leprechaun anything. I had some friends who really did like, I think, the first movie. But yeah, not into the horror movie either. I bought either the box set of the Blu-ray or I got a deal on Vudu for all the movies for like $10 or something. So I only got into them in the last 7 years or so, whatever that would be. I don't remember when I got it. Um, but yeah, I liked the first one enough, and it interested me enough to keep watching. And I had to give up after. I remember at least watching the first three. Whether I gave up or not after that, I don't recall. But it's a quirky movie, and I like the off-brand humor. I like that he's not a traditional killer. He's just his own deal, and he is perfectly happy to live the life that he is as a leprechaun, with his simple desires to have his bag of 100 gold pieces, to take vengeance on anybody who takes any, and to have a whole lot of fun with other people's stuff. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, he has a point. Like, don't take a leprechaun's gold.
And the whole bit, just his shoes shining. I like the fact the movie seems to establish some rules for the whole Leprechaun lore, and as you get more into the sequels and remakes, it's all out the door. The humor is very important, and I don't think anybody else would do as well in this as Warwick Davis did. So, as much as I'd love to give it 5 pairs of polished shoes, I'm only going to give it 4. And I thought about why not 4.5, but I don't want to disrespect the leprechaun by splitting up a pair of shoes that he would probably prefer to keep them together. So, out of respect, I'm going to keep it. Out of respect, I'm going to keep it 4 evenly pairs of shoes. I don't know why. I just can't. There's a lack of the nostalgia thing, but I like it, and I'm pretty sure it's the best of the series. Maybe it's just that Jennifer Aniston is not 100% into it. Maybe it's something about that. Even though she's the biggest name in the movie, today she's the biggest name in the movie. Back then, I don't think her name was on the poster because it was her first movie role, right? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, my understanding is that she was completely unknown at the time.
All
This
right.
is really the first thing that people would have seen.
I don't know specifically what I'd point to criticize her performance. The character isn't great, but I just felt like she could have been having a little bit more fun with this movie. And the fact that she feels embarrassed by it today, maybe it just puts the sour taste in my mouth. Because I was thinking, how cool would it have been to have any part in this movie? Like, even if you were just a victim, like one of those police officers, how cool would that have been to have a
Oh yeah.
bit in this?
Now I will say I don't know what if I don't know if that's her present view of the movie, but at some point she said that out loud. Probably at the height
Yeah,
of
okay.
Friends, I would imagine.
Disrespectful. I'll take Warwick Davis's career over Jennifer Aniston's, personally.
A couple of quirky little notes about the movie. George Lucas gets a special thanks credit because Warwick was still under contract from Willow, and Lucas had
Yeah.
to approve the role. And
Weird.
Vice President Dan Quayle helped fast track Warwick's work visa.
Is he not a Native American citizen? Really?
I think he's Canadian. I might be wrong on that though.
Oh, okay. Huh.
I'm not really sure. Well, I mean, he's a leprechaun, so he's Irish. But
Okay, man. Yeah.
All right. So that's been Leprechaun from 1993. Don't steal a Leprechaun's gold.
No.
Please. It's not worth it.
Top of the evening to you. Bottom of the evening.